He told me that he was separated from his wife, that she was dying. She was dying.
Today, Tamala is seeing her estranged husband David for the first time in 4 years, after a 10-and-a-half-year marriage that often was unstable.
If you not doing it Dave's way, it's a problem.
Volatile.
You cleaned us out. She took everything from us. Everything.
And rife with infidelity.
I moved this man into my mom's house. I helped him get back on his feet.
The time has finally come to close the book on Tamala and David's unhealthy union.
Well, the reason I left him was Dave is very abusive as far as verbally.
Now she want me to come to a hospital that's 55 minutes away from my job. Now I can't do that and provide for her.
Ending this marriage tests Judge Lynn's last nerve.
I'm not gonna have chaos in here.
Today, on Divorce Court.
Come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lynn Toller presiding.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Tamala Wilkins and David Fenn. The two of you have been married for 10.5 years. However, you have been separated for the last 4. And Ms. Wilkins, I understand today's the first day you've seen him in 4 years.
Yes, it is.
You doing all right?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to finally call it a day? Absolutely. So we're here to resolve some issues. Ms. Wilkins, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your marriage and how we got here today?
Oh, my God. Okay, what happened was David is real controlling, for one. It's like, I like pork. He don't. He don't want it in the house.
That's right.
I can't.
It's my house.
Mr. Fenn, this is my house.
I'm sorry.
You need to respect that.
I apologize.
It's like when like his work, it came before me. That was his life. That was his love. Say, for instance, if he come in too late or if I'm calling him because, he drove a cab. If I'm calling him, I feel like you're in the cab, you should be able to answer. Like, where you been? Why you can't call him? He gets frustrated. Once he gets frustrated, I'm every B in the book. You know what I'm saying? Stop calling me. Insecure old broad. I'm a little bit older than him, so I'm insecure old broad. He feels like I'm insecure.
Okay, Mr. Fenn, what do you have to say in response to what she's saying?
Her insecurity led to our separation. See, this sister here, she got to have hair, nails.
Yes.
She got to have it all. But no job. No job. I had to do it all. And for the first few years, we had a little Section 8. It was helping. But then when the Section 8 cut and we had to move, I needed her to get a job. I asked my friend wife, who was giving out jobs like cigars, can you get my wife a job? So she tell me, I'm gonna go take the application. I say, okay, baby, cool. Now, when we sitting there just having some drinks and talking, she's saying, tomorrow my brother-in-law started work. I say, well, what about my wife? We need a job for her right now. And she's like, well, your wife don't wanna work. I keep telling you that. So we talked about 10 minutes. I say, well, let me call my wife to verify this. Baby, she talking about you don't want to work. Let me speak to her. Handle the phone. They go back and forth. Okay. She slide the phone back and say, yeah, she brung it. Now, me and her husband looked at each other, then looked at her. He said, don't you get involved in that. Don't you do that. So she said, baby, she don't want to work. She didn't bring nothing.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Were you working at the time?
Yeah, two jobs.
You were working 2 jobs? What 2 jobs were you working?
I drove a cab and I drove an ice cream truck.
Okay. Now, was Mr. Fenn out there driving a cab, and an ice cream truck?
Let's talk about Mr. Fenn and his working. Yeah, he did drive a cab. He drove it enough to say half of a day, then he'll play like it's broke. The ice cream truck thing, he didn't really drive the truck like that. And as far as, can I please say this, as far as me not having a job.
You didn't.
Mr. Fenn, she didn't interrupt you? Show her the same respect?
Let me tell you, I did have a job. I had a little clothing job. I might not have worked 40 hours a week or what have you. I was diagnosed with lupus. And at the time, we really didn't know
what it was. Yeah, because it's a hard diagnosis to make.
Exactly. But I was sick a lot, and we had rent assistance, so we really didn't have too many bills. But yet we were lack of food, We didn't eat all that well, you know what I'm saying? Our lights was out. We barbecuing outside on the grill because our lights is out, but he taking care of home. His way of taking care of home wasn't the way that my father or my mother brought me up.
Well, but you say that, but then again you say his work came before you. Explain that to me.
Well, see, he really wasn't working.
Hey, Mr. Finn, look at me. Look at me.
I'm being lied on, Yana.
Everybody in here
I'm being
has
lied on.
Mr. Finn is court.
Okay. I'm being lied on. Perjury.
You're going to be put out in a second. Have a seat.
When divorce court continues, did David skip out on the in sickness and in health part of his vows?
If I get sick and have to go to the hospital and need him to come pick me up when he was driving the cab, you want to know something? I was cutting into his time and his money.
And later, shocking testimony from a surprise witness.
Ms. Miller, what do you want to tell me about this relationship? What have you seen and what do you know?
Your Honor.
Divorce isn't easy. If you want to share your story, you could be a guest. Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com or become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt.
Divorce Court returns with a case of Tamala Wilkins, who says her husband David treated her like an afterthought in their marriage. But David contends he was working like a man should to provide for his family.
I went from driving the cab from 8 hours a day to 18 hours a day.
You say his work came before you. What do you mean by that?
Let me give you an example, if I may. I had a blood transfusion. I was in the hospital. I was really sick. And I was lonely. I wanted him to come up there and see me, you know. So he would come for a few minutes. Quick. Everything with him, with me, is quick. He came up there, but he had a shirt with him. He said, I got to go do this show. Our rent is due. You know rent is due? He put on this shirt, and his shirt was distinct. It had the writing on it. When I get out the hospital, it might have been about a month later, I see the video, and it's the same shirt. And he on the video looked like he looking at the cameras on the girl's booty. And he's standing up there and he looking back at it, you know, in the same shirt that he had to hurry up and leave me from the hospital with.
So he went out there to have a booty dance with somebody.
Right. While I'm in the hospital.
While you in the hospital.
While I'm in the hospital.
Okay, got it. Mr. Finn, can you act like you got some, come on. She's contending in a long roundabout way that you're a womanizer, that you're out there cheating on her. Did that happen?
No,
or has
Yana.
she got it wrong?
No, Yana. I started a television show designed to create a platform for inner city youth, period. But what I do is I bring them back to the community. Sometimes we in the club, that's true, you know what I'm saying? But most of the time, we in the community. She don't want to be a part of that, you know? And that's what caused, it was how she left. Is where we at.
Is where you're at.
Yeah.
That's not where we're at. That's where you're at.
I don't understand how she left. What you understand is how she left on the reason why she left. I said, baby, why you leave me? The first time I said, why did you leave? Because I didn't want to work with that girl. So because you didn't want to work, my kids got to stand there and don't have nothing. You cleaned us out. She took everything from us. Everything. And then when I asked, I said, Tam, can I ask you something? I said, why you take can openers? Why you take plates and dishes? My kids didn't have nothing to eat. You know what she said?
What did she say?
And I'm going to be real with you, Anna. She said, F them. They'll be all right. And that's my right hand on my mama. And now for me to take her back after she stated that, it must have proved that I loved her. But when she came back, my household was in a disarray. Because now my kids running away. Because they don't like her. They didn't like how she left them.
Ms. Wilkins, did you leave him?
Yes, I did.
Tell me what was going on the first time you left him.
Well, the reason I left him was, first of all, like I said, Dave is very abusive as far as verbally. He's never put his hands on me. But verbal abuse.
Give me some examples of the kind of things he says.
For example, I couldn't talk to him. If I get sick and have to go to the hospital and need him to come pick me up when he was driving the cab, you want to know something? I was cutting into his time and his money. You know what I'm saying? He felt like that was a problem. You know,
and that's when he would get angry and abusive.
You not doing it Dave's way, it's a problem.
Now, Mr. Finn, give me a second here. You've been over there for about 10 minutes now, and you've been hot and warm and punching and angry. Do you admit that you can be kind of a hard guy to work with when things don't go your way?
You know what?
Because she's saying she felt abused by
Let me tell
it.
you this. If you tap me on my shoulder, I'm gonna say, huh? You tap me again, I'm gonna say, huh? Keep tapping, I'm gonna say, what? After a while, I'm gonna say, what the hell do you want? And that's what she was doing to me. That's what I was receiving. I'm talking about I'm receiving this from work on a constant. I went from driving a cab from 8 hours a day to 18 hours a day. Now tell me that. Now she want me to come to a hospital that's 55 minutes away from my job. Now I can't do that and provide for her.
I hear you, Mr. Fenn, and I think your anger is sincere.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a minute to take a breath.
When divorce court continues, David steps up his antics when the other woman testifies.
You know what? Y'all give him a round of applause.
Hey, Mr. Fenn, Mr. Fenn, Mr. Fenn, have a seat. Do you think this relationship was doomed from the start? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers. Call 1-800-282-1991 now.
If you would like your case heard on Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and follow us on Twitter @DivorceCourt. Divorce Court returns with the case of David Fenn, who asserts he's never cheated on his wife Tamala as she claims. But will his secret mistress tell a different tale?
I moved this man into my mom's house.
Ms. Wilkins, your claim is that he was a womanizer. You explained that to me.
This brother cheated
Whatever.
during the marriage.
Okay.
This woman knew more about me than the psychiatrist.
You
This
know
woman
what?
knew
Well,
more
I say
about
Let me say this. I have a witness here named Loretta Miller,
Yeah.
and I need to talk to her. So, Joe, please bring in Ms. Miller. While we're bringing in Ms. Miller, what are you dying to say to me, Mr. Fenn?
Look, my mama told me the best way to get rid of a snake is to cut the head off, because that's what I got to do with this situation. You got to get rid of this sister here, because
Which one?
Which one?
this one.
Don't
You're
touch
calling
me.
it? Oh, no.
That one. And I'm gonna tell you
He
why.
mad now.
Riri, why you sitting over there
Riri.
looking all? Why you sitting
Mr.
all?
Fenn,
Why you
Mr.
sitting all
Fenn,
looking all
Mr. Fenn,
crazy?
Mr. Fenn.
First and foremost.
No, first defend, still my house.
Okay.
Still my house.
Okay.
Relax.
Ms. Miller, what do you want to tell me about this relationship? What have you seen and what do you know?
Your Honor, I met David Fenn on the bus coming from Mississippi from picking up my son. He was the suave, debonair guy that a con, a rat. He told me that he was separated from his wife, that she was dying. She was dying.
Did you tell her that
I
she was
believe
dying,
this
Mr.
man.
Fenn? Did you pull that out, Mr. Fenn?
You know she ain't.
It's not funny.
Man, because y'all sitting up.
not funny.
You know
Mr.
what?
Mr. Fenn,
Y'all give him a round of applause.
Hey,
This is beautiful.
Hey,
This
Mr.
is
Fenn,
beautiful.
Mr.
This is
Fenn.
beautiful.
Mr. Fenn,
Damn
Mr. Fenn,
Disrespectful.
have a seat.
Ain't no
Have a seat.
damn truth.
Have a
Mad.
seat.
Ain't nothing mad. Ain't nothing
That's
to be
why
mad
you're
about.
mad.
You
Mr.
outta
Fenn,
here.
have a seat before
I've been out here
I've got
4
to
years
put you
when I
out.
left you.
Ms. Wilkins, quit hollering with him. I'm
But she
trying
gonna
to talk to
become
this
friends with
over
a
here.
woman that's
Hey,
ending up with her husband.
stop it.
I thought you didn't lay up with her. Did I
Ms.
hear
Wilkins,
that?
Ms. Wilkins, you want to sit down?
No, ma'am, I apologize.
I'm not going to have chaos in here.
I understand.
Finish the story. Tell me what you know of Mr. Fenn.
Well, like I said, he told me that she was dying. We exchanged numbers. I didn't call him. He called me. He pulled up in my house in a white Cadillac. We talked for a minute. He left. After that, he started calling constantly. Next thing I know, he said that she had left him. He had nowhere to go. I moved this man into my mom's house, Your Honor. I moved him in. I helped him get back on his feet. I helped him get things for his apartment. I helped him with his kids. I furnished their Christmas. I furnished everything. Your Honor, I went so far as cooking a rib for the holiday for him.
Thank you.
Okay.
Guess who enjoyed it?
You
Yes,
took it
ma'am.
back to
He
Mrs.
took it back to his wife.
When divorce court continues, what causes Judge Lynn to reach her breaking point?
I'm not. Let me
Mr.
tell
Fenn, you
he
can
punches
leave
the
now.
wall.
Mr. Fenn, you can leave now. I'm all done.
Oh, I see too much, man.
Do you think this relationship was doomed from the start? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers. Call 1-800-282-1991 now.
Divorce Court returns with the case of Tamala Wilkins and David Fenn, who after 10 years of a volatile marriage and a 4-year separation, finally are calling it quits.
Mr. Fenn, come on up. Now, I'm going to have some specific questions for you if you can contain yourself.
Come on with him.
Yes, it is.
Did you move in with Ms. Miller
No.
at some point? She never moved her
That's
into
my
her
right
house.
hand on my mama, and my mama dead.
And mine
How?
is-
Nah, go
Okay,
get a
now,
Bible.
Mr.
Mine
Fenn,
is
Mr.
too.
Fenn, what is
I'm
your
letting you know I
story about
didn't.
how you know her?
When we met on the bus, I never seen her again after that. But one time, I bumped into her, like she say, in my Cadillac. I bumped into her. She asked me how was my music doing, because I was pushing a cartoon at the same time. So I told her about it and everything, doing all right. Wife gone now. When she left, it was over. It was open door, open season for anybody. Now, I admit that Miss Miller, family, love the family. We went to Mississippi and everything. We had a good time. But when my wife left, it was no more. I was not even planning on ever seeing her again in my life.
So when you're saying by the time you met Ms. Miller, Ms. Wilkins had left for
By
the
the time I
second time
started
and you
dealing
were
with
done.
Miss Miller, she was gone.
Okay. Ms. Wilkins, were you gone by the time they went together?
No.
Is he right or wrong about you having left him? That you took the stuff and left?
I didn't. No, he's lying about
Wait a minute,
all of that.
wait a minute, Yana,
Let me
tell me
tell-
to swear on that. Swear you didn't
I
take, walk
swear
out
I
of here and
didn't
take everything.
I swear I didn't
But
take
did you
everything from
leave
him.
though?
Yes,
you
ma'am,
left
I did.
him though.
I had
That's all
to.
I'm trying.
Yes.
That's all I'm trying to determine.
I had
is that
to leave
you
for
left
my
him.
safety, for
I got
my
you.
life.
I got you.
Now
I got
you
you.
threatened
I got
out.
you.
Yes.
I got you.
Anytime a person
Mr.
is being
Fenn, Mr.
verbally
Fenn.
abused and dogged out, I'm not. Let me
Mr.
tell
Fenn,
you,
you
he
can
punches
leave now.
the wall.
Mr. Fenn, you can leave now. I'm all done.
Oh, she too much, man. She too damn much.
God. He think it's a joke. He think like he's laughing. He think our marriage. He think my life is a joke.
Are you still with him, Ms. Miller?
No, ma'am.
Has he moved on to another woman?
Probably have several.
You two seem, to share in your mutual pain over
Yes,
what
we did.
Mr.
You
Fenn
know,
did.
But not
The
in the
best
beginning.
thing, right?
I hated her in the
right.
beginning.
But the
Right.
best
I
thing
used
that
her in the
came out of
beginning.
this-
I befriended her because I knew he loved her.
Okay.
So I befriended her so he couldn't have her, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
And then I honestly learned how to, she was a good person. And I seen that she wasn't lying about everything.
Okay. Tell me about the rent, the light, gas, and the phone charges you want me to award you.
Well, right now, like I said, I'm laid off from work. I'm on a disability, and it's like I need some help. And, I don't have any help.
Ms. Wilkins, I applaud your strength. I know it was a difficult thing for you to come here and declare that, he hurt you and he did badly by you. And I know he must have been a monster to live with because he was a bear in here. And I got a guy with a gun. And he was all and he was all up and loud and crazy. And I knew he was up and loud and crazy in your house, and he made it hard for you. And I think you left out of desperation. I get that. I think you got taken advantage of as well, Ms. Miller. And I get that. And I'm sorry for that. But I'm proud of the fact that the two of you found one another. You two had enough sense to become, sisters in your difficulties and rose above it. And I applaud you for that. And Ms. Wilkins, I'm so sorry that you're not well. I am sorry that you're not well.
Thank you.
But after 4 years of separation, I can't just say
I
all of a
understand that.
sudden he owes
Right.
you your rent and your light and your phone bill.
I understand.
I mean, my heart is
I
with
tried.
you, and you tried. But the best thing that you did was to come here, say your
Yes,
piece,
ma'am.
and talk with her.
Thank you.
God bless you, God's strength, and you'll find a good guy someday. There will be no recovery in this matter. It is so ordered.
Thank you.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Tamala stated that everything is status quo since leaving divorce court. She still loves David and says she's not over him, although she does try to date. She knows he's disappointed she brought Loretta as a witness, but told him she had to bring the truth. David says that he loves Tamala and always will. He has apologized for hurting her, but was upset that she would believe another woman over him.